Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and on this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. Boop. All right. We got a question. We're answering a question today, and we have a very short little story that was kind of weird. We're going to start with the question because I often front load the stories, and I'm going to make you wait for the story. Also, more importantly, this gives you the chance to not listen to the story if you're not into the story. That's fine too. I want to remind you all that if you don't like what I post, you can give me that thumbs down. Appreciate it. Love it. Give me the thumbs down. All right. We have a question here from YouTube user Julio who says, "Greetings, Vincent." Greetings, Julio. Is this normal? I got an email from the firm representing me. It states this. Quote, "You'll be getting a hard copy in the mail with instructions from us. Your next point of contact will be our investigator." Blank. I guess they provide the investigator's name. "They will assist with drafting your rebuttal to submit to the EEOC." Okay, so to answer your question, that is normal. What's going on is that you hired a firm that has some non-attorneys do very substantive work on your case. This is common. To be clear, this is not something my firm engages in. We do not. We prefer to have attorneys handle all substantive drafting. I think for me, it's very important to have attorneys do that because I'm able to give attorneys a more sizable stake in the outcome of your case when they work at my firm, right? Like if I have an attorney working at my firm, I can give them a piece of the result they achieved for you, right? And that's a real motivating factor. And there's some methods that people give non-attorneys, profit shares on cases and things of that nature. It ethically gets dicey, and I'm not comfortable with any of it. So I'm not deriding the abilities of non-attorney paraprofessionals who work in this industry by any stretch. Certainly not, especially not in our firm, but in any firm. But I am saying generally, I have more ability to incentivize attorneys to care about their clients than I have an ability to incentivize a paraprofessional to care about their client. And listen, if somebody's not putting their clients first, they're not going to last here. But you want to take every method at your disposal when you're running a firm to incentivize your people to really get them to put the client first, to maximize the value, to reduce the risk, to do what they need to do to put up the results and the wins for their clients, right? So my main, there's other issues, right? If you have non-attorneys working cases, I've got a couple questions. How long have they been in the field? What was their training like? They could be amazing, right? Like when I was a baby attorney, gentleman who still watches this channel was assigned to me as a paralegal to work with, and that gentleman taught me far more in my first year of legal practice than any attorney in the firm that I worked for, certainly. He had a depth of knowledge. He was a great guy. He took time with me in ways that attorneys didn't because they were busy or they didn't want me taking cases from them or whatever it was, right? So I'm not deriding paraprofessionals, but I do want to know things like how long have they been in the industry? How long have they specifically been in this role? How many cases have they run? What is the depth of their knowledge in the field? What is their issue spotting capability, right? Like there's a lot of people who know when they see somebody engage in orientation discrimination. They can spot that. They can say, oh, that person's making anti-orientation based slurs to your detriment, and it's aimed at your orientation, so that's a case. But spiderweb. I've certainly seen attorneys and sometimes non-attorneys fail to spot the perceived orientation cases, right? Like I've had conversation with people who had less depth of knowledge, who would say like, oh yeah, clearly that's an orientation-based slur, but you're not of the orientation they're speaking against, so it's not a case. That's not how that works. That is not a true statement. That is the wrong way to think about and approach that instance of hate, right? And so I want to see the non-attorneys have a greater depth of training and a greater depth of experience in this field than you often see, right? Like if you have a really rigorous training, what the heck? I think there's just a spider dropping silk into my shot. I don't know if you can see it or not. I don't see him. I don't know. Oh, this is wild. Anyways, back to the video. It can be done. I think you can have non-attorneys work on cases responsibly. It is ethically allowed. I don't do it. I don't have any interest in doing it. It has routinely been suggested to me that's something that I should do at this firm, but we all kind of agree that's not. I'll say it in a loaded fashion. It's not the kind of firm we want to be. I'm not saying those firms are bad. I'm not saying those firms do a bad job. I am saying I would not be comfortable being one of those firms, which are two different things. Two different things, right? And that's a personal question. You may have, listen, your firm may have a wonderful culture, a training culture. They may be really, really good at this. They clearly structure things in an intelligent manner, right? They're naming their internal people investigators, it sounds like, which means they're thinking about how to do this and approaching it in a fashion that maybe they've been doing for a while. That's positive, right? Like calling your paralegals investigators. Are they investigators? I don't know. I mean, what defines if one is an investigator or not? My take is they're paralegals. There's a paralegal working on your case that is being called an investigator because you're less likely to question what an investigator says to you. That's my read of what's going on here. It is very common in this industry. It can be done well. It is often not. That's the best and most complete statement I can give to you, Julio. If you're asking me if it's normal and common, yes. Do I always love it? No. Have I seen really good examples of it being done very, very well and helping lots of people? Yeah. Is there an additional advantage to the firm that paraprofessionals tend to be much cheaper to employ and train than attorneys, and so the firm will make a much higher profit margin? Sure. I think you can count on that being one of the reasons why that firm is using non-attorneys. Now, there's another reason that is far more legit to my mind. In our field, there are not enough attorneys, and it is very difficult to scale a firm by locating and hiring really, really good employment attorneys that you want at your firm. That, let me assure you, that is the bane of my existence. That is the hardest part of my job. 100% the hard. Like that is, and I said this to a very nice gentleman earlier in the week. That is one of the great failings of my life. My ability to scale my firm with the talent that I want to have here. I would love to bring twice as many cases. I would be thrilled. You would see a smile on my face so big, you'd be like, yo, what's wrong with Vince? Is he on something? No, he's just finally scaled his firm the way he wanted. That's how happy I would be. And it is often suggested to me to go with non-attorneys who may not carry some of the failings that employment attorneys bring to our industry, and that's a legitimate thing. And I think there's a lot of reasons why an employment law firm would say, yeah, we did end up scaling with non-attorneys for many of the roles in our firm because they're just the attorneys that we wanted to hire didn't exist or had some foibles that made them perhaps less than ideal for our clients, and we were able to locate non-attorneys who were hyper experienced or very trainable and very caring and very dedicated and very zealous in their representation, and they were able to prep cases for attorneys, and it works great for us. We collectively, the people who operate this firm with me, have decided that is not for us. But it can be done well. I think I'm repeating myself at this point. I don't know. It's just, this is a loaded topic because the minute I make this video in my head, I know there's firms are going to say like, you're attacking us. No, not true. I'm attacking some of you. I'm attacking some of the firms that use non-attorneys, maybe about half of them, maybe about 2/3 of them. But a third of them are doing the gourds work, the pumpkins work, the gourds work. Trying too hard. Farmer brain. And those firms are helping lots of people. And I respect that a great deal. And the other 2/3 of the firms that I think are doing a little bit less amazing of a job by using non-attorneys, they're still helping people. They wouldn't make money if they weren't helping people. Do I think they're doing as good a job as I would like? Do I think they're maximizing value and reducing risk as much as humanly possible? Maybe not always. Maybe not always. But volume practices do exist in our field, and people have been trying to figure out how to get them to work for decades. And that is one of the few models that has been at least economically successful. So, yeah. Anyways, Julio, I wish you a great deal of luck. Oh, last thing I will say here. I don't love that they tell you when your next point of contact will be. They work for you. They can tell you when they'll be reaching out next, but the next contact with the firm will be with whenever you damn well please, in my opinion, right? Like that's, you hired these people, you gave them, I assume, a significant piece of whatever they might win for you. That case could be worth anywhere from tens to hundreds to millions of dollars. I don't know what your case is, right? I have no knowledge. But whether it's tens, hundreds, or millions of dollars, that firm works for you. And if you contact that firm, you better get a call back, in my opinion. That's a major issue. And I'm sure they do. Just the phrasing that they used. Your next point of contact will be our investigator, so-and-so. Does seem a little like it's drafted in a way to dissuade you from reaching out to the firm. Which I understand why they're doing it, because, you know, I've talked on the channel that there's certainly clients who will call the firm every single day, and you just have to manage that to the best of your ability. But I don't love the like gentle pushing away that's going on there. Anyways, Julio. Oh, yeah. Whoever has thoughts on this, I would love to hear your thoughts. I think some people are going to rip into me and be like, yeah, you don't have to be an attorney to do this stuff. Sure. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Absolutely, I agree with that. There are about a third of the firms who use non-attorneys who do great jobs. I agree with that. You don't have to be. But I've already said the rest, right? Just give me your thoughts down below. I would love to have a conversation about this. I do think it allows firms to lower their rates, which is meaningful. Meaningful, right? You can help more people if you can lower your rates. Better margins with cheaper staff means lower rates for your clients. Theoretically, I don't know if that always happens, but theoretically that can happen. And that's pretty valuable. What do you think of that? Is that a good value proposition? I mean, we just had a big conversation over the last 2 days about people being forced to represent themselves because they can't obtain representation. Maybe I'm being a little snooty over here and We should be rolling out non-attorney investor banks with hundreds of super well-trained investigators to run cases and prep them for trial and turn them over to attorneys late in the case. Maybe that's what we should be doing. Maybe that would help more people. I don't think that's something I want to be doing, but maybe the industry should. Maybe some other attorneys should. I don't know. We'll see. Julio, I hope this is helpful. I hope this answers your question. I wish you great success with your case. If this was helpful, like, subscribe, comment down below, share the channel so it can grow. To everyone who shared the channel recently, thank you so much. It's really gotten a lot of traction in the places you shared it, and it's been phenomenal. The channel is growing rapidly, and that's amazing. Really makes me feel like we're helping people, and that makes it all worth it. So thank you. Take care, everybody.